to the bold analysis. Why is Moses Masika Wetangula, the National Assembly Speaker, a bit terrified by Uhuru Kenyatta's silence in the wake of the mass action called by Azimio la Umoja? I'm asking that question, or rather, I'm a bit shocked because Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is a man that has been called all sorts of names, underrated, smear campaign done on him, and the image dented as a man who do not hold any stake in this country. And so, when did Uhuru Kenyatta finally become a statesman in the eye of Kenya Kwanza politicians? At least they are the ones that have never believed, even when we insist that we cannot change facts and history, that the fourth president of the Republic of Kenya was the son of Mama Ngina. I wanted to get this soundbite from Moses Masika Wetangula, getting worried about the silence of Uhuru Kenyatta, or rather calling on Uhuru Kenyatta to come out and say something. I don't know what he's supposed to say.
Sasa wewe Rais Uhuru mustaafu, you should be the #1 elder statesman in Kenya who can call the country to order when things are going wrong. Why are you maintaining a conspiracy of silence? Why are you maintaining a conspiracy of silence? Why? Because you are conflicted. And because you are conflicted, you are compromising terribly your own legacy. When the history of Kenya is written, you will be in an ignominious paragraph at the end of the story. As a man who, when he was required to do something, did nothing. That's not good for you, my brother. Stand up and be counted. You will be the best ex-president of Kenya if today you go to the TV and say, Wakenya wenzangu, mimi nilimaliza kazi yangu, I left a peaceful country, I want a peaceful country. Raila, go back home. Sisi hatutafuatana na ile kelele inapigwa, tutatafuta mwenye kelele. And we know mwenye kelele. That is what we look for.
It is very unrealistic of Moses Wetangula now asking Uhuru Kenyatta to come out and speak. I don't know what maybe he's supposed to say. Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell and like our video. I want to say very much thank you for those who share our videos. Asanteni sana also for those who support us, support me, support this channel. I am so grateful for your generosity. Uhuru Kenyatta is a man that has remained a soft target for the UDA politicians in Mount Kenya, with the latest smear campaign starting from allegations of stifling the economy during his 10 years reign as the president, ending to the allegations of funding Azimio activities. But don't forget about another claim that he actually left the treasury dry. I don't think Kenyans have been starved of smear campaign against former President Uhuru Kenyatta. But despite of that, the latest one, the recent one, was the attack, or rather the raid on his Northern city. But despite of that, you can see actually that there is a bit of concerted efforts on going after Uhuru. When the defense CS Edna Duale appeared in, that was in Spice FM, he made a statement that Uhuru Kenyatta met Ruto, allegedly sent emissaries to Ruto, and is asking the state to leave his family alone. They've chosen to take that part. Now today, there is also another article that US and the foreign envoys have now trooped back to Uhuru Kenyatta, and they're seeking audience with Uhuru Kenyatta in one of the strategies to bring the ceasefire, or rather to bring a truce between Raila Odinga and William Samoei Ruto. So Uhuru has so far become a point of target. But interestingly, as you had the image of the 10 years tenure of Kenyatta, something is happening in Mount Kenya. That there have been series of protests, and these protests border on what is not right there. Leaders, if they're not talking about the market, they're talking about roads, and they're talking about maybe underdevelopment in the region, blaming this administration. Today there was a protest, and I wanted to have I wanted to listen to that to what that soundbite here.
Ule contractor alipewa hii barabara after the first contractor akakama akatupromise ati atajenga hii barabara within 2 months. Now from 28th January 2 months are almost over. Watu wamechoka kabisa, sababu hata gari imekataa ile barabara ya kitambo imerudi huku kwa pedestrians. Mtoto mwingine pale alikanyangwa na gari ako hospitali saa hii. Watu wengi wamekanyangwa, wametishiwa maisha. Na sasa tunauliza, kama alisema 2 months hatujaona trakta yoyote hapa, kwa hivyo hakuna kitu inafanyika. Hii ndio mvua inakuja kuanguka. Sasa watasema hawajengi barabara sababu kuna mvua. Naye Kororia tunamwambia alikuja akatuambia itajengwa. Watu kama Dede Joro kwao kumejengwa mabarabara, kwingine kumejengwa mabarabara, hapa kwetu kwani tuko wapi? Sasa tunamwambia asukume hawa makontrakta na tutoki hapa kabla maroli zikuja hapa na matingatinga.
Nimetoka Nakuru, kutoka Nakuru nikielekea Thika. Sasa kufika hapa Mwea karibu na Mangu, sasa gari imekata spring na inabidi sasa niuse abiria wangu wote, sasa niende nitengenezewe gari. Makanika akuja hapa kwa sababu haiwezi enda.
Imekuwa tisho sana kwetu. Ndio zingine tunatembea usiku, gari maybe imebeba, kuna ma potholes. Sasa hiyo hakuna security lights kwa barabara, kuna kuaga giza tupu. So na hii barabara ni barabara imeenda bali sana. Kutoka Thika unaweza enda mpaka Uganda nayo. So serikali tunaiomba tu watutengenezee hii barabara na tutashukuru na tutafurahia.
Kuna Kera, kuna Kenha, kuna Ministry ya Roads. Hiyo tunataka kujua ni nini iliendelea na hii barabara ya kutoka Jomoko mpaka flyover. Ni nini kulifanyika? Kwa hivyo tunataka kujua. Sisi si watu wa kushinda tukitoka kwa barabara kila wakati sababu ya maandamano, na hii barabara mnajua mlibomoa, mliharibu. Sasa oneni vile inakaa.
Now, that is Gatundu. That is William. That is Uhuru Kenyatta's home. People protesting about that road there. You know, bit of, I know it's not that strong. It's not that strong one because it's in a village setup. But again, people are complaining. Now, this is a man we've called all sorts of names. A man that we've defamed as we can. But all of a sudden, he's become a statesman. And people have realized, okay, there is something in his silence. And in this video, I want us to delve deep and look at why that silence by Uhuru Kenyatta is actually becoming a headache to the current administration. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the things why the conspiracy, the silence of Uhuru Kenyatta is becoming a worry is because Raila Odinga seems to be insisting that he's not on the handshake. He's not for the handshake. You know, the Kenya Kwanza framed the narrative that what Raila is doing is for the handshake. And the hard stand that he's not for the handshake and pushing for that legitimacy seems to show that he's immovable. Even the US team that tried to meet him to talk him out of the protest have failed, and that's why they're looking for Uhuru Kenyatta. So Raila seems to be very strong, very determined, and he's not pro that handshake story. But if Raila wanted a handshake, let me tell you, if Raila wanted a handshake, Raila would have taken that, you know, that proposal of creating the office of the opposition. That was the handshake that William Ruto was offering. So cleverly, Raila would have went silent over the matter and would have taken that office. Now, taking over that office, that would have been the form of handshake between Raila and Ruto that would have taken. But that, I don't see that as the intention. In fact, he's just trying to he's actually getting back those hustlers who are trooping on William Ruto's side. So they are finding it a bit confused on their end. what does really Mzee want? What exactly is the force behind Mzee? He doesn't want a handshake. There's no legal recourse. What is the end game? So Raila Odinga's end game is not clear to them because of the hard stand. I want to believe that at one point they've been, before this US envoy team meets Raila, they've been meeting government and they know what William Ruto wants or William Ruto counter strategies. Then the second thing is this. I think the glue holding Azimio Pamoja together is a puzzle, is a mystery that even the state is trying to unravel. After the last general election, you saw leaders crossing over. And those who crossed over, they crossed over because they were looking at a 10-year strategy. Looking at it this way, Ruto cannot be removed from power. Maybe he's going to get a second term. And because he can get a second term, even if I lose my seat, I will still be in government. Now, that has also been a discussion on, can Azimio wrestle power from William Ruto? That discussion has been going on. So many would have expected, and there have been serious attempts to try to remove the likes of Kalonzo Musyoka from Azimio. But that has not been successful. So it's you wonder, and I can tell you, if what is keeping Azimio Pamoja together is something that is worrying the state. They've tried. And even William Ruto in his personal capacity, there was sometime a rumor, unfounded rumor, that William Ruto was willing to give Kalonzo Musyoka that foreign affairs CS. To give Kalonzo Musyoka that position, then kick out Alfred Mutua, which, Mutua is lightweight. So nothing can change that. That was a possibility. But the fact that these people are forging together and they're moving forward is something that they know. They're also in the process of doing vote mobilization. What they're doing also in the country, they're also doing vote mobilization. Now, the protest is gaining traction. If you were doubting whether people will come out, then that has been proved that people will come out. If you are doubting that you will use threats and intimidations and offer warnings morning to the evening for people to shy away from coming out to the street, it has been proven beyond any reasonable doubt that people are braving whatever is on their way. That is it. If you look at the videos, they've been live. If you look at those live videos, you see the way people are very enthusiastic. When the tear gas was thrown on people in pipeline, some women pour water chini kusaidia wale watu wako chini. So it's gaining. People are actually taking it. I can tell you, look at how it has been organized. When Raila left Chungwa House and went to the Kawangware area, no one was expecting him there. But he will still move with the people. Realize that your convoy, what people are still coming out, despite of that criticism of that it's not going to solve the cost of living. So they have realized that in real sense, we cannot dismiss this mass action in totality. It's not. Within no time, it will catch fire and it will be difficult to contain it. Initially, there was perception that Raila is tired, Kenyans are being told the truth, and they're doing counter narratives, so we are going to get done with Mzee the next day. But those things have remained street talk, poetic talks. The reality here is that mass action is gaining traction. Lastly, Uhuru word would be used as to, it will be used to manage the expectation, or rather to run a propaganda on what exactly is happening in the Azimio fold. That, according to me, is the real reason why these people want Uhuru Kenyatta to speak. If, today, and there is one leader I really wonder, even if you are Kimani Chungwa, if you check his tweets from morning to evening, it's about Raila and Uhuru. In fact, Kimani Chungwa now is tweeting like Miguna. If you remember the days Miguna used to tweet about despot and this and that, now that is the work of now Kimani Chungwa, tweeting about Raila and Uhuru, day, morning to evening. Even he went to Kakamega talk about Raila this, Raila that. So these are man that they really want to get out, let him talk, so that everything he says, they can create a propaganda and start a fight on him. Even today, I listened to a guy saying, we are going to have a talk with him about how to return the wealth that he's been stashing abroad. So I maintained, and I told you guys, that the narrative that we are going after Uhuru Kenyatta, because Uhuru Kenyatta is sponsoring Azimio Mandamanos, I told you that thing is a smoke screen. I still hold that position. That has not changed. That thing is a smoke screen. People want Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. That is the target. And it's for other selfish, personal reasons. But what is happening here is just using the slightest opportunity. You're hiding behind the Azimio mass action. So as to whether Uhuru is going to talk, if you ask me, if this is a trap to President Ruto Uhuru, because, former President Uhuru Kenyatta, because let's imagine he comes and says something, makes a tweet, maybe meets Raila, photos are shared, and that I have talked to Raila Odinga, and so we've called Raila, I've talked to Raila, and Raila has called off the strike. Tell me, will people understand his point of view that he's actually done something to talk to Raila? Or people will actually say that because he was the person funding Mazimio, he is the one who has stopped it. You know, it's a very tricky one. If he's to come and say anything, the last time he spoke was when after the burial of Magoha, and he was accompanied by the ODM politicians, and he was joined the ODM politicians in some campaign caravan somewhere in Kisumu. Then after that, he's never came back again to campaigns. But then on this one, I think the standard is taken, but the approach is taken to keep it quiet. Silence is also a tool. And if you know that you're the person everyone wants to fight, then you don't give them that opportunity. You keep your calm, let people shout, let the public judge. Because again, you need to agree that the Kenya Kwanza have always created a scenario of us versus them. We want to compare what we've done and what Uhuru did. So if there is something that Uhuru is going to say, even in terms of this mass action, I'm telling you, it's not going to be about the mass action. It's going to be what he's saying now about mass action about and vis-a-vis the BBI. So on this one, I support. Let Uhuru keep his calm. There is no way you don't believe that this man is not a statesman. In fact, there are people who say, we want to take Kenya to where Kibaki left it. I've always said, that narrative is so tired and so selfish. When Kibaki left this, when Kibaki left power, there was no SGR. When Kibaki left power, there was no Nairobi Expressway. Yeah. When Kibaki left power, there are quite a number of things that Uhuru did. You can only leave it where Uhuru left it. But you cannot leave it where Kibaki left it. Because we are also progressing. That is my bold. And you can also tell me, why is Wetangula terrified about the silence of Uhuru Kenyatta?